Say sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. So, dear Dharma practitioners, as you know, when it comes to Buddha's teaching, one of the main advice what the Buddha mentioned as guideline, as information, as a foundation for this all the teachings. This life is impermanent, and there is a deeper suffering within all of us. And even though when somebody asks us, how are you doing? Mostly we say, I'm doing well, thank you, I am fine, thank you, like that. But even though we say like that, the deeply we are bound to great struggle. That struggle have kind of like a few things. One is getting old day by day. And we cannot turn back. We cannot U-turn this life. Another one is sickness. And as we experience nowadays, all over the world, that human beings and struggling to escape from this sickness. But somehow, even though we escape from one thing, another thing going to get us. So this body is kind of like a home. This body is kind of like a place for disease. It always facilitates disease. And that is another thing. Another one is the death. It always going to be there for us, waiting for us. We all have to pay for it. So this struggle, these three things, this worldly nature, we always have to remember. Because if we forget this, and it will help us, it will become a reason for us to do a lot of unwholesome activities, unprofitable activities, demerits with our bodily, verbally, and mentally action. But if we keep little bit, remind ourselves, or if we think again and again, remind, reflect on it, that will help us to keep the clarity in our mind, and also it will help you to develop kind of undisturbed mind. So because it become kind of like a tranquility meditation. Because in tranquility meditation, there are four kind of meditation. Buddhanussati mettacha asubhang maranasati. The contemplating the Buddha's quality and practicing loving kindness. Buddhanussati mettacha. So the Buddhanussati means contemplating Buddha's qualities, and mettacha, practicing loving kindness. Asubhang, that recognizing the very nature of this body, and this always decay, deform, and this always change, and whatever inside, outside, this body parts interconnected and develop this form. Each and every part of this body always separating and changing, dying. And Marananusati, that's mean contemplating the death, recognizing, understanding we're going to die. So that also kind of like a foundation for tranquility meditation. So then remember in your life that whatever you do in day-to-day life, now we experience, you know, in the beginning of this year, when this pandemic happened, in the beginning, people used to be so crazy, go to shopping malls, you know, market, and try to get a lot of things. And by the end of this year, now you experiencing and your understanding. So 2019, end of the 2019, the whatever the lifestyle you have, it's completely changed to different lifestyle when it come to end of the 2020. So it is our own whole life. So then you can understand now, without having a lot of things, you can have a life. So during this time period, you didn't do a lot of things, but still now you are okay. But if you look back a little bit, end of 2019, before this 2020 come, you will get ready for New Year and the Christmas, and you thought, oh, it's 2020, it's going to be big event and everything going to become so good in life. So there are astrologers, they predict regarding 2020, end of the 2019. And you see that what they told about 2020. It's the scientists, and they used to talk about 2020, and thinking it going to become completely, you know, more successful, more beautiful. Yeah, but it changed. And what it happened all the time. It happened every day to us. But only thing is what during this time, the duration is this little bit longer. That's why you can see this very clearly. Otherwise, it happened every day. So, but somehow, what you have to understand without having a lot of things, you can have a life. And even without doing a lot of things, you can have a life. Still you are living. So how about that? And then in the deeper that if you look very carefully in tomorrow, and maybe that whatever that today you become comfortable, and tomorrow maybe you're not going to have that also. Maybe going to get something else, but still you can go with this any situation in life. That is the bottom line. So, and at the same time, we have to remember. So when we have a lot of things around us, we sometimes we caught up with that, and we forget that our life and who we are and what is most important for us. So when it comes to the most important thing in our life is the wisdom. So the wisdom, and as a foundation in conventional level, the wisdom start with the intellect. So we have the mind and intellect. So the mind you have to transform to intellect. So the mind has few natures. Mind has feelings, emotions, impulse, and like and dislike, like that way. And if you don't cultivate or matured or uplift, strengthen your mind to intellect, you're going to go with this. Look like a newly born baby. Newly born baby, it start to grow these muscles. Newly born baby, you can hold like this, and it scale by, few pounds, and you can hold like this. Then what happening? This everything start to grow little by little, little by little, and it become heavy and it becomes stronger. It gets strengthened. Otherwise, still today, somebody need to carry you here and there if it didn't happen to you. So that is a natural process with the physical. Then how about the mind? So we have this, the package with the feelings, emotions, impulse, like, dislike, like that. And if you just keep feeding to that, what will happen? If you pampering, this mental qualities, what will happen? Your life going to become miserable, not only you. The people around you going to suffer because of you. So then as a human being, the way your body nourished, the way your body becomes stronger, the way your body become matured, the living means through perception you have to mature your mind to intellect. So that is the conventional level, that is the beginning of the wisdom. But the thing is this, the intellect is when it comes to the definition of the intellect, there is a one beautiful definition, that is recognizing, investigating, analyzing the ultimate truth. That is the nature of the intellect. That is one quality of intellect. And another thing is analyze, recognize the truth without hold it to it. You analyze, you recognize the truth without hold it to it. So the thing is this, once what you analyze or what you recognize or what you understand, if you hold it to it, so that process called intellect. And once you hold it to it, what happening? That hold position, the place is called intellectual. So then it is very important for you to develop your life, your mind in intellectual level without become intelligent. Because if you become intelligent, that means you become a master for some kind of, the place, so some kind of subject, some kind of things, methods, pattern. So then people say, oh, he's an intellectual person. So like that. So he's a very intelligent person. Of course, all over the world you see. We used to think like that way. The world is so smart and people got the award and the best people, the highest people. But look when the pandemic happened. When they try to find the vaccination, we understood that whatever the intellect that we develop as and what we hold as intelligence is not enough to deal with this situation. So that means the position you hold as you are intelligent is not complete. So then if it is not complete, you cannot settle down there. So then what you have to do? You have to be in the process. So that process called intellect. But mostly in life, in conventionally, because mostly we look others and we depending on the culture, tradition, others' opinions, and sometimes even deeply inside us we get tired. We have because and mostly when our emotions start to attack, and our like, dislike, or impulse and feelings start to get hijack our process of this method or transformation, and somewhere you're going to drop your journey. And once you drop your journey, then in that level, in that place, maybe you feel you are intelligence. But the very important thing is when you become intelligence, and if you stop the process of that you used to become intelligence, anymore you are not intelligent. So you become intelligent, and if you keep that process, that intellect process. So the intellect is always you keep the open mind, observing and recognizing, analyzing the truth. So then what will happen? Moment by moment, there is no place to settle down. You are not looking for a place to settle down. It's like, I want to get this degree. I want to complete this diploma. This is not like that. So then, the most important two tools that you have to develop, why that we drop the process of intellect and we become intellectual or intelligent, because we take things for granted. That is one reason. Whenever you reach to a certain level, you take things for granted. You become so sure with things, and then you think you're done. So that is one thing. And another major thing is you go back to the mind concept, is you don't question. You don't question regarding that the whatever you observe, contemplate, analyze, you don't question. You don't question. So when it comes to the Buddha's teaching, one of the most important part, if you look at the Tripitaka, if you look at the history, most of people come to Buddha and question. And they question, it is just not a question. Then they used to keep observing, keep contemplating, keep analyzing, looking for that. And then finally they come to Buddha. So then when in your life, not about others, how about ourselves? Are you questioning? Are you analyzing? Are you recognizing? Are you in the process of seeing yourself? So then it will help you to be intellect regarding the process of you. Because when it comes to the Buddha's teaching, Buddha didn't care about whatever happened in the past or whatever the future or here and there. It's like that. He mainly concerned regarding what really happened in this very moment and what you experience in this very moment. That is the most important part. So then remember that keep the process. So that's why when it comes to the vipassana, that intellect process, rather than becoming intelligent, you keep the process. And without coming to any kind of, the position to settle down, or without coming to any kind of pattern or method, you keep you in the process. You don't look for settle down. So that is something to deeply awake yourself. So remember, if you don't transform your mind, if you don't grow your mind, then you belong to this this pattern, this samsara. It keeps going. There is no end. So another thing is the why this mind become like this way, because when you come to this world, there are certain things waiting for you, and they are welcome. You cannot escape from that. You become a prisoner. So the very first thing, when you born to this world, the very first thing come and hold you. Can you guess? When a baby born, or nowadays people scan and see, but the very first thing, when a baby born, the very first thing that you bound to this world is the gender, male or female. You cannot escape from that. See? It's you become a prisoner. And then once it is, this all the culture, tradition, patterns, methods, the history, and everything come and put the seal. Boom. Oh, he's a boy, he's a girl, has done. You are in the prison now. You cannot escape from that. You and that once you get into that seal and bound to that tag, and you hold it to it. Sometimes people don't know how to get out of it. And there's a called brahmachari, brahmachari. So the brahmachari is one way of interpretation, or one of the interpretation. Brahmachari, you able to have a life without dividing genders. Try it. It's very difficult. Can you see people as people? Can you see human as human without male, females? Can you help to people like that way? No, it's from the history. It's not happening. It cannot happen. It's because that is the very nature of the world. And another thing is you are in the house arrest within this first 10 years mostly. When other people say sit, you have to sit, go, and you have to go, you have to do everything according to other whatever other people say. And how about if your parents say sit, if you don't sit, what will happen? This little child, 3 years, 4 years old child, your parents say, oh, my son, daughter, please sit. You don't sit, what will happen? What can you imagine what will happen? So it's that's me. You are in the house, you are in a prison. You have to do everything according to whatever other people say. So if when they whatever they make as food, they give it to you, of course, with the love and compassion, with then according to that. But if you don't eat, what will happen? You have to eat. You have no choice. Even the misery is we ourselves don't know it is a prison. And others looking at us, they enjoy it. Oh, look at this baby like this. They enjoy it. We all go through this, and we went through it, and we have to go through it in the future. We will. So like that, it's you have to understand this. So we cannot escape from the gender and this house prison. Then after that, the culture, according to that tag they put from the beginning, oh, you are male, you are female. According to that tag, on the way in this journey, it's always things. We cannot escape from it. This keep going, this keep happening, this keep happening, this keep happening. But remember yourself. If this is the very nature of if you go with the mind. But if you transform your mind, if you matured your mind, if you uplift your mind from mind to intellect, it doesn't matter. You come to a point to break the barrier of the gender. Remember that. Mostly we caught up in that gender, the barrier and the prison. We caught up with the mind, and it will feelings, emotions, impulse, like, dislike. We're dealing with that, feeding to that, and then you go with the gender. But if you transform your mind to intellect, so that means you start to look the truth, and you go with the truth without hold it to whatever you experience. and you keep in the process. It's like the you like the lotus flower, lotus from the in the mud it is start. From the mud it come through the water and start to stay untouched. So like that, if you transform your mind to intellect, you're not going to be with this worldly emotions, feelings, impulse, like, dislikes, dramas, others' attitude. So like that. And that is a moment you're not going to take anything for granted. Why? Because you are in a process. You're not going to settle down in a place and take things for sure, hold it things as for sure. You are in a process. You become like the wind. Others can feel you, but they cannot hold you. But if you go with the mind, you become kind of like a newly born child, sit, do this, go there, sit there, watch this, do this. So you always have to work for the command. It happened to all of us. So then how you can get out of this? The thing is that when you transform this, there are two dharmas called swadharma, paradharma. So the swadharma means the what you hold within yourself. So the dharma means hold, what you hold it, what you repute, what you follow, what you get into, what you belong to. This all come with the dharma. And the para means someone else. So when it comes to swadharma and paradharma, there are two different. One is, so for human, for us, swadharma means becoming a human is a swadharma. Paradharma means for us, it's like a becoming animal. So it is a para means, separate from the our level. So then the animals are kind of like something. So if you are a human, it is, if you act like a human, then you follow swadharma. But if you become kind of like an animal, then you follow paradharma. So that is one thing. And then another thing is, when you born as a male, so you belong to that kind of dharmic method to live as a male, masculine lifestyle. And if you become a female, so that is a kind of like, why? Because that is what you hold into, you get into. So then if you behave like according to that kind of dharma, then it become swadharma. For female to become act like feminine, and male act like masculine. But in case if the male start to act like a female, so then it go to paradharma. And if the female start to act like a male, it go to paradharma. So then in the beginning, to develop the mind, so recognizing the dharma, because that is what we get into. There is a reason for that. So then if you want to transform your mind to intellect, the very important method, fundamental, the quality that you have to develop. And sometimes, in case if you are too late in your life, remember to teach for your children. Don't pamper them. Don't make like vegetable. Why? Because if it is a boy, you have to raise that boy as according to Swadharma, like a male. And if it is a girl, then you have to make that girl as according to the female character. So today, with the science and technology, machines and people losing this, and because that losing that, it is not just the you losing this, the physical. What happening? You cannot transform. Why? Because the very pure nature, you do not hold it to pure nature. Once you hold it to that pure nature, and that is where your mind, you able to transform to intellect. So that is one reason all over the world today, this humanity, we cannot uplift our consciousness, awareness. Why? Because male not act like male, female not act like female. The the it's a kind of like they don't understand. They are very nature. But once the very first thing, once you recognize that, and then from there you develop the intellect, and once you develop that intellect, it becomes the key point to destroy the gender barrier. So that is where you find the freedom, not by just changing the body. You cannot get out of this. But if you able to develop your intellect and hold it to whatever that you got, and you develop the intellect, and in that level you able to destroy that your prison. So otherwise what will happen? You go back to its nature. So this is deeply psychologically also. It's proved by the scientists, in the all over the world through the research even. And sometimes, and we try to escape from the life, but again and again, what happening? The current becomes so higher. Feelings, emotions, impulse, like, dislike, start to become more stronger than before. Why? Because we don't transform it to intellect process. So when it comes to intellect process, observing, contemplating, analyzing, the most important thing, without taking anything for granted, questioning your inner experience, and allow the process to move. Allow process to move without hold it to your experience. And that is where your transformation going to happen. So think yourself again and again, question yourself again and again, be very clear yourself again and again with how your mind every day you developing, and allow your mind to grow and do make it more stronger, same like the way your body becomes stronger today. So make your mind stronger to intellect part, and don't be intelligence, and keep that emptiness inside. So with that, I bless upon everyone with this good practice. May all of you be well, happy and peaceful. May no harm come to you. May no difficulties come to you. May no problems come to you. May you also have the patience, courage, understanding, and determination to meet and overcome inevitable difficulties in your life. During this time period, may everyone stay healthy and safe. And finally, may all of you attain supreme bliss of Nibbana. Sabbityo vajjantu sabbarogo vinasatu mate bhavatantarayo sukhi digayuko bhava ettavata cha ammehi sampadang punya sampadang sabbe deva sabbe bhuta sabbe satta anumodantu sabba sampatti siddhya idamme punya kammang Asavakkaya vahang hotu sabba dukkha pamunchatu. Bless you.